Would you lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Larry, would you lead us in prayer?
Love to. Father God, we come before you tonight and we ask for your guidance as we seek to lead our city in the proper direction that you would have us go. Father, we just pray for your presence here tonight and your leadership. In your name we pray, amen.
Amen. All right. Roll call.
Counselor Foster,
Go Stars.
Counselor Locke,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Segola,
Here.
Counselor Lorenz, and Mayor Becker are absent this evening, but with 3 council members, we do have a quorum.
Are there modifications to the agenda?
No, sir.
No modifications to the agenda.
So it kind of balances.
Approval of consent agenda, minutes of regular meeting of February 3rd, 2022, and review of and approval of accounts payable.
Motion to approve the minutes of regular meeting from February 3rd, 2022, and the accounts payable.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? See none? Nita?
Counselor Foster,
Aye.
Counselor Locke,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Segola.
Aye.
Motion carries to approve the consent agenda.
All right. Proclamations, communications, and appointments. Appointment of Linda Robinson to the Rio Grande County Library District.
Good evening, Council. Before you tonight, you have a letter from the Rio Grande County Library District stating on January 22nd, 2022, the Board of Rio Grande County Library District has voted to recommend the appointment of Linda Robinson to the Rio Grande County Library Board. Her appointment will expire December 31st, 2027. As stated by the bylaws, Article 5, Section 1, replacement to the Rio Grande County Library Board of Trustees shall be appointed by the recommendation of the Library Board of Trustees and shall be ratified by 2/3 majority of each of the following legislative bodies: the Board of Trustees for the Town of Del Norte, the City Council of the City of Monte Vista, the Board of County Commissioners of Rio Grande County, and the Board of Trustees of the Town of South Fork. Please notify the Library District in writing of your legislative body's decision. Thank you for your consideration of this matter.
Motion to appoint Linda Robinson to the Rio Grande County Library District.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion on that? Okay, it doesn't look like.
Counselor Foster,
Aye.
Counselor Locke,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Segola.
Aye.
Motion carries to approve Linda Robinson to the Rio Grande County Library District.
All right, congratulations, Linda. Wherever you're at. All right, appointment of Kerry Adams to the Valley 3 Advisory Board.
My name is Kerry Adams, not my name, but his name is Kerry Adams, and I'm interested in the position of the Valley 3 Advisory Board. Please consider me for the opening. I have lived in Monte Vista since 1979, and I'm a big fan of the theater and keeping it open. My family and I have watched movies there many times and have always enjoyed the theater space. The movies there are reasonably priced, and the theater has the best popcorn in the valley. I am retired Alamosa science teacher, and my wife is also a retired teacher from the Sargent School District. My kids have since grown and moved out of state. I am encouraged by the young people who are currently on the board and their desire to better our community. I hope that I can be of help to their cause. If you need any further information, please do not hesitate to contact me, Kerry Adams.
Motion to appoint Kerry Adams to the Valley 3 Advisory Board.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any questions? Discussion? Just have you, how much background do you have on him?
Nothing other than the letter. He did attend a couple of the board meetings, so he has actually sat in on a couple of the board meetings for the Valley 3.
Is this something that you would recommend?
Yes, sir, we actually are very short of board members. And after our meeting today, I think they could use some fresh faces.
Cool. Awesome. Any other questions?
Counselor Foster?
Aye.
Counselor Locke?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Segala?
Aye.
Motion carries to appoint Kerry Adams to the Valley 3 Theater Advisory Board. Thank you.
All right. Citizen comments and special presentations. Citizen comments. City Council welcomes your unscheduled comments. Please limit comments to 3 minutes. Council will not take action at this same meeting. Scheduled appearances. In order to be included on this portion of the agenda, please file the appropriate form with the city clerk no later than noon on Monday prior to the meeting. Ag Conference. Linda Burnett.
Good evening. It is my pleasure to come here before you and tell you what a wonderful ag conference we had earlier this month. And especially in our new building. We had approximately 70 vendors and with 93 booths. And in the past, in the old building, we had the same amount of booths, but it was exciting to see how much more we can grow, next year and the following year. But I wanted to really stress and thank Stephanie and Oscar. They were just absolutely awesome. It was a great teamwork. And then your employees, your city employees, they were so busy. Comments that we heard later on was that they were so impressed that the 2 individuals that were there throughout the conference were so busy, but they kept the building looking nice all the time. Everybody was just in awe, and it's really exciting to have that here in Monte Vista. We appreciate the partnership that we have with the city and the chamber and CSU to be able to have a very successful conference. We hope that next year we will be able to have more vendors, and we're already thinking about how we can, change things to be a little bit smoother, the flow for the vendors to be able to talk to people, and it's just really for the first time I think it's open-ended, that we can do things to make it much better. So thank you, thank the city. We really, really appreciate it.
That's awesome. It's a great report. Wonderful.
Thank you, Linda.
All right. Crane Festival update. MOU, Deb Callahan and Jenny Nearing.
Hello, I'm Jenny Nearing. I'm on the Friends of the Refuges Board and one of the Crane Fest planners. And we planned Crane Festival. There's 3 main partners. It's the Friends of the Refuges, the Chamber, and the city, who have been putting on the Crane Festival over the last 8 years. This upcoming festival is the 39th annual Crane Fest, but this 3-part partnership is only 8 years old. I'm here tonight to get your approval on an MOU. This is a very tardy visit to get your MOU approval. This is something we usually do in September and October. But as with many things during COVID, things are different and weird. Anyway, and the Sky High building is another variable that has made it more complicated to develop at our MOU. This year's Crane Festival is going to be a hybrid format. Last year we did an entirely virtual Crane Fest because of COVID, and this year we're doing a hybrid format. Hybrid meaning that we still have some tours that will be offered, but we will not be offering bus transportation. People will drive themselves to the tours. all of our speaking engagements will be virtual. And this hybrid format was required because our agency staff, the refuges, the National Wildlife Refuge staff, their COVID restrictions don't allow them to be indoors in large gatherings of people or on a bus. So we really felt like this was a pretty good balance to strike in these unusual times. So, and also the Crane Fest, in addition to tours and the virtual speaking engagements, we will have the Craft and Nature Fair. The Chamber has moved forward to plan that event. It'll just be on Friday and Saturday instead of Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I'm thrilled that you guys had such a great ag conference there. That will mean that the Crane Fest will even be a smoother event there. But before you and in your packets is the MOU, the language of the MOU. Gigi helped us with some of the language in here. You know, prior to the new Sky High building, the city granted us use of that building free of charge. And now with this new beautiful building, we don't have that expectation. But the city's support in other ways, hanging banners, Rob and Lowell hanging banners, and even the crane, Swoop of the Cranes, which is a chamber thing. Those things all add so much to the atmosphere that we set for all the people who come visit for Crane Festival. So yeah, the language is in your packet. Do you have anything to add?
The only other thing that we're also going to try to, we normally have a home and garden outdoor expo in April, but we're actually, because it's the same vendors that attend both events, we're going to try this year and combine them both. And hopefully then that we can get and have more vendors there this year. We're going to look at it for next year to see if it was successful or if we need to just then keep it separate. But our hours on Friday setup will be from 7 in the morning till 10 o'clock in the morning, and then it'll be open to the public till 7 that night. And then on Saturday it will be from 9 to 6, and then it'll be tear down.
And there will be a pancake breakfast. The Kids Connection is going to put that together. It'll be a fundraising event for them. In years prior, the Kiwanis group did that pancake breakfast, but they no longer have a presence.
Right.
So, yeah, so we'll be feeling it all out this year. But it's an important event. And some of it, if you'll recall, we did an economic survey of this event for our city and our valley, and the cranes are here for a longer time period than just over the weekend. And that survey showed that we have nearly 20,000 people from out of the valley who come visit to watch cranes, and that results in nearly $3.5 million in economic revenue. 120,000 of which is tax revenue. So this is a really great source of income at a really slow time of year, and we can count on the cranes. It's kind of like money that falls from the sky, basically. So, does anyone have any questions? I'm going to leave you guys a poster that you might put in up front if you'd like, and we're busy gathering business sponsorships right now, but yeah, we're thrilled to have at least some components of this year's festival are in-person events. So, all right, thank you.
Thank you. What are the, you mentioned business sponsorships. What are the levels?
Well, I have it right here in this glossy. So they start at $5,000, drop down to $100, and we would accept any dollar amount too. We're more interested in a range of business sponsorships than, high dollar amounts. We know that especially in our community, there's a lot of businesses that maybe can't do those higher amounts. But, where some of the benefits of sponsorship are, we have promos on Facebook. Your logo gets on to our webpage. It'll be posted in our sponsorship posters and banners. Let's see. Add in some of our festival programming. And we're even, moving forward when we're back up and running 100%, we hope to have maybe some special booths at the Sky High, especially because we'll have more room than we've had in the past. So, yeah, lots of opportunities. And one's in the mail too.
Oh, okay. Is it?
Put it in the mail yesterday, so watch your mail.
Good. I was gonna ask for one, so.
Yeah, or give me a call.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
So this MOU was something that was already in place, just updated, right?
Correct.
So is this something that we have to?
But,
Yes.
Mr., what do we call you?
Mayor Pro Tem?
Whatever, don't matter.
The one that was in your packet is not the updated one. So Nita sent the corrected one in a separate email today. Okay. And yes, it's one that has been in the past, and so we just updated it.
So is that something that we have to just sign and get it?
Yes.
We don't have to make a vote or nothing, right?
Yeah, you want to make a motion to adopt
Okay,
it?
so
Please.
just making sure.
All right. Motion to adopt the Crane Festival updated MOU.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Are there any questions?
My only question is, just for my own reference, because it says they're payable rate offset operating expenses. I understand that they used to get it in exchange because it was a good thing to bring in the city. What is the rate that they are paying?
We'll have to look at Stephanie for that.
We did a discounted rate for them this year since it's not a full in-person event. I believe we did that for $1,000 this year.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions?
Just give you just a second. I don't have any questions.
Good. We're good when you're good.
All right, Nita?
Counselor Foster?
Aye.
Counselor Locke?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Segula?
Aye.
Motion carries to approve the MOU for the Crane Fest.
Thank you.
All right, Monte Vista after prom.
Good evening again, Council. Before you is a letter from the After Prom Committee. They will be holding the After Prom tentatively for April 30th, 2022. Facility is yet to be determined. In past years, you have donated to them, and they've just sent a letter requesting for a donation again this year, if that is the pleasure of Council.
Do you know how much we donated the last year?
The last 2 years, you've donated $500.
Is it within our budgetary means to donate 500 again?
I don't think we've donated anything this year, right? And what's our limit, like 5,000?
That sounds
Something like that, right?
Did it? Yeah. Used to be 2, but we finally got a raise.
If it's,
I'm willing to.
I move that we donate 500 again to the after prom.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to donate $500 to the Monte Vista After Prom Committee. Are there any questions?
Well, I mean, I know I made the motion, but do we want to up that at all? I mean, prices?
Do
I don't know
we-
where they're gonna have it or what their expenses are gonna be, or,
Do we have?
so 500's good enough? Okay.
Okay.
As long as that's sufficient for what they need.
Well, they do get funding from a variety of sources. I know the
Right.
Rotary
Right.
donates to it.
I was just gonna ask, like, I wonder if there, like, does anybody get any kind of report on, like, what their expenses are? So, yeah. I don't know.
Not to my knowledge.
I think 500 is fine.
I don't have anything to do with the after prom committee or even any children in school anymore, but I wish things like this had been available. Because when my kids were going to prom, I was the after prom committee along with Adam, and you know, we trailed them around town. So I'm really, I kind of like supporting the after prom thing. Be a lot easier on a lot of parents.
You all can either pass it now, or we can invite a representative to come back in for the next meeting, and you guys can ask them your questions.
I don't think we need to do that. I think we can just go ahead and make the decision and have it
So, it's
have it
been-
done. Get her done.
Are there any other questions? Nita?
Counselor Foster?
Aye.
Counselor Locke?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Segola?
Aye.
Motion carries to approve $500, donate $500 to the after prom committee.
All right, looks like we're moving right along down to M, to receive and approve financial reports. We're not-
Have any, I'm sorry.
all right, that's a quick one.
They didn't
That's a
want
quick
your
one.
numbers Anyway.
Okay.
Break my heart.
All right, we're gonna go right down to staff proposals, reports, and actions. Number 1, Sky High.
Good evening, Council. First, I would like to introduce my assistant, Oscar Martinez. Poor thing started during Ag Conference, so he got to jump right into the deep end. But I'll let him say a little bit about himself.
Hello everybody, my name is Oscar Martinez. I recently graduated from Adams State with my degree in Business Administration with an emphasis in marketing. I graduated last May. I look forward to working with all of you.
Congratulations, welcome to the city of Monte Vista.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Got big expectations from you.
Glad you survived trial by fire. What's better than starting and just being thrown in it?
Absolutely, and you can guarantee we're going to put that marketing degree to use. Thanks, Oscar. You can go ahead and have a seat.
It's great. Nice to meet you, Oscar.
Yeah, nice to meet you all.
All right, so far we have already hosted 5 events at Sky High. So as Linda mentioned, Ag Conference was our first event. Altogether, I think we had probably close to about 420 attendees. So a good way to jump right into the new building. They definitely used every facet available in the entire facility. So they used every single conference room, the event center, tested out all the restrooms, all of it. Was a good event. We learned a lot. Definitely going to tweak a few behind the scenes things just to make it a little bit easier for us, but a great event overall. We followed that up with the Elementary Ag Fest. I don't have exact numbers on that, but we had about 300 elementary kids in there, very loud, but it was a great event put on by the CSU Extension Office, and they just used the event center side, so that got a good use out of it as well. And then the conference side, we've hosted 3 business meetings, so I think that word is getting out to some of the businesses in town to host a great place to host meetings there. So those are our 5 events that we've currently hosted. As of today, I have 17 additional contracts out for other events. That includes everything from graduation parties to quinceañeras to business meetings to weddings, anniversary parties, dinners, as well as our annual events that we usually host there. So we're getting going on those. We've been very busy giving tours and sending out quotes to other entities, so we hope to get that contract number up higher in the near future.
Sweet.
Yeah. As far as upcoming events, we have our ribbon cutting and grand opening this next Friday, the 25th, from 4:30 to 6:30, with comments at 5:30. So we hope that all of you can join us in celebrating the new building. And then after that, we have our next large event is going to be the Crane Festival. So we are getting ready and hitting the ground running and taking as many events as we can as possible. Any questions?
Is the ribbon cutting right at 4:30, or is that like 5, or do we know?
So Commons is going to be at 5:30, so we'll do the actual ribbon cutting during Commons.
Okay, thank you.
And that's next Friday.
Friday the 25th.
Yep,
5th.
week from tomorrow.
Sounds like with the events that you have already booked and the ones that you have possibly being booked, that your research brought you to a good price point.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
good.
I think
So
people
that's
are
a
pretty
good
happy
thing.
with the price, and everybody is very, very impressed with the building itself. We have heard nothing but good things so far. Hopefully we continue with that.
Thank you, Stephanie.
Absolutely. Other questions?
I don't have any.
Thank you.
Thank you. City clerk.
Back again. Tonight, I just wanted to update you on a couple of things. The big thing is the Planning and Zoning Commission. We had asked for council to approve to go to the 5-member board. We put the ad out. We have had 4 responses. So I will be sending you all the information with the applications from those 4 individuals, which is Justin Pepper, Jerry Apgar, Lauren Howard, and Damon Ariano. I will send you all that information, and then I would like for each of you to respond to me personally, not in a group, but individually, with your ranking of those individuals, and then we will move forward with their application process. I would like to remind the citizens of Monte Vista that we have the dog tags for 2022. So please come in and register your dogs. It's $7 per dog. And by code, you're only allowed 4 dogs within the city limits per household. So please come in and register your dogs. The only other thing I wanted to update you all on is that during COVID, the liquor and tobacco division allowed for businesses to have beverages for delivery and takeout. That did expire on January 1st, 2022. So I just wanted to let you guys know about that.
And that's something that won't be reinstated.
I don't know at this point.
Next pandemic, it will be.
All right. Public Works.
Good evening, council. I don't really have a whole lot tonight. February, we have been pretty much in what I call support mode. So we've been either helping here at City Hall with some office furniture and moving some offices around and doing some various things. Sky High, of course, did some support as far as the first event with the Ag Conference. Some snow removal, so we're getting lots of snow removal, including today. I think things have been going well. I guess really open it up for any questions you might have. We are moving towards spring, so we're starting, at least in that aspect, is starting to think about parks and getting things done that way and trying to order pieces and parts. We're finding, man, supplies are just crazy trying to get things in. Some of our vendors are 6 to 8 weeks, a couple of them 3 or 4 months out for certain things that we need, so a little worried about getting things in as we go. But for the most part, February's been, at least from a department side, it's been fairly just simple busy. I mean, we're always busy, but it hasn't been anything outstanding, no breaks, no leaks, nothing that really affected us too much, so we've just been in support and doing our normal maintenance. As far as me, I just sent to Gigi for her first review our SEP, that's that Supplemental Environmental Project that we're gonna submit to the state. So I'm hoping that will go to the state if I get everything I need by middle of next week. So we'll be having more discussions with you guys as far as our next steps once we know what the state feels like on those projects. We have an upcoming work session as far as our water and sewer rates that we need to talk to and try to get that going with some things. So need to have some pretty good discussions on that. Really, I mean, I don't know if council has any questions for me or anything. So, any complaints, anything you guys would like me to work on?
I've heard nothing but good things about our public works department lately. I love it.
I enjoy it.
Do you think you and your crew can come up with the plans for more snow?
No.
No, they cannot.
Actually, we're kind of in that mode. You know, it's been weird this year is all the snowstorms have been almost spring-style snowstorms. They have a lot of moisture in them. They kind of come in, they don't stay around, they melt fairly easy. So it's been more spring snows than actual winter, you know, middle of December, February type snows. I mean, the one we got today was really, really wet.
Yeah.
It melted really quick. So thank you.
Thank you, Rob. Appreciate everything you guys do.
Make a great YouTube video. You know, this guy's doing
Yeah, right?
Got my report? We're good?
We're good. Thanks, Chief.
Appreciate it.
You rock.
Good evening, council. Always good to see you guys. So I did submit my annual report, just kind of a review of last year with crime. There's some crime stats and stuff in there and equipment. I do want to say thank you for the approval of the vehicles for the lease. That is so huge for us. That's been a nightmare with the vehicles, how outdated and stuff they were. We, for example, in December at one point we were down to 3 vehicles. Yeah, because just they weren't running, and then we were able to pick up a used decent one from Alamosa for $700, which is cheap, and at least even if we get 4 or 5 months out of it, it's good. So I really do appreciate that. Not really a lot in the report. If you've got any questions, we are still down 3 positions, and it is so hard trying to hire. I mean, that's statewide, nationwide, really, for law enforcement. It's just hard to find people. You know, even some of the bigger agencies, like my former agency, is down. I think it's been reported they're down to like 100. They're down 120 troopers. So that's a lot. It's just really tough hiring and getting people involved. We do have an academy class going. As you know, I'm heavily involved in the academy. We do have one on the hook from there, and then a couple others that have put in applications. So hopefully, but again, we won't see any relief of that. And by the time we get them trained, that's August, September, something there. So we'll keep going at it. Keep trying to recruit and stuff. So I see anything else really big. And now grants. So I'll talk a little bit about grants. I'm still applying for and been pretty successful in getting a lot of grants. I think last year I got around 45,000 in grants, and I'm looking at hopefully doing the same. Actually, this year I'm hoping to get a little bit more. I've got one that's in the final, hopefully, stages and that's like 70, 80,000. So, and if that works out right, I'm going to be able to hopefully pay down our lease a whole bunch. So that just frees up money somewhere else, as well as another 46,000 in another grant that I'm working on, and then little ones here and there to pay for our training and stuff like that. So if I can get somebody else to pay for anything for us, that's a good thing. Saves us money, saves the city money. So other than that, I really don't have much else, unless you guys have any questions.
How's the search for an investigator going?
So we have that out. Actually, I think it closes today. It's internal. It's internal. So we did post the investigator position. We had 2 officers put in for it. So now it's just the process of doing the testing. I'm actually going to make this a very robust testing process. I got like CBI is going to help with it and stuff. So people that do investigations and stuff like that. So there's going to be a couple assessments and an interview panel and stuff like that. So, but I will tell you, we're going to slow that down just a little bit, just because of the fact that I don't wanna rob the patrol side and move somebody in there. I mean, we kind of a dual thing, because we still have our first commitment is responding to calls and answering to the citizens and stuff like that before we do that. But I'm hoping if it works out, and I do have one in the hopper to come on board, so if that works out, then that'll maybe allow us to move this a little bit quicker. But I'm hoping by April, absolutely no later than May. That's the plan anyway. So.
I just know that's been a burden that would be.
Absolutely, and you know, we've had a guy on light duty that was injured, and so we've been able to use him a lot to do a lot of this stuff. And, you know, still getting some work and stuff on him while we're waiting for him to come. In fact, he just had surgery, so he's getting ready to come back hopefully in the next 4 or 5 weeks. So, anything else?
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
You enjoyed playing cops and robbers again?
Yes, I do. that's my first. Watching the Avalanche.
Oh yeah, they're on a streak.
They lost it, Dallas.
Okay, Mayor Pro Tem, Council, don't have a whole lot really either going. We're awfully busy in court, so things are starting to pick up a little bit on Wednesday. A lot of folks in and trying to work with folks, a lot of traffic that we had, and trying to work with people that have decent records to try and avoid points going in. And so, and things went very well, resolved almost every case but one, I think. And again, Chief, if you would let your officers know that they are doing a great job on those reports, because when I take a look at them, usually we've got people dead in the water. So it's just, all right, let's see, what are we gonna do? And maybe give them a break here and there, but I really would like to have you let them know that they do real good reports, and it just makes everybody's job, I think, a little bit easier. But I think as things, as the weather gets warmer, we're gonna continue to get busier and busier there. And so things, I think, have been working out very well in the courts. Touched a little bit on this. I think Gigi touched a little bit on this last time, but we did have a water meeting with myself and Rob and Gigi and the attorneys for about an hour and a half, so very enlightening. And they're busy trying to resolve our issues with our augmentation plan. I think one of the questions Rob had was, how much water are we going to have, and do we have enough? And I think we're in really pretty good shape with our water. And they're making progress on trying to resolve some of the change of water use from irrigation into domestic use. So seemed to me like they've gotten a lot of the objectors kind of lined up, the state engineer, and so I think before it's over we're going to have some kind of a resolution that'll get us through. These water cases are just very complicated. I just have tremendous brain damage when we start talking about water because it's just a mess. But I think they're making progress. I did review, of course, stuff for Sky High, policies, their agreement, and I think we're in pretty good shape on that agreement. It may be a document that is sort of a moving document as things come up. I mean, with the new building, I'm sure things will come up that we hadn't thought about, and then we'll have to make adjustments. But I think we're in pretty fair shape right now with what we're doing there. And I think we mentioned, or Gigi mentioned last time, I did up a deed for 117 Adams Street, and I think they're good to go with it. So as far as I know, we may have some folks occupy a building, start working on it. So that I think will be very helpful. And we did resolve our one little piece of litigation that we had, Roan versus the City of Monte Vista. That case we just recently settled about a few days ago, and far as I know, we don't have any other litigation that I know about, but and that's always good for the city and good for the auditors. They don't, helps resolve, helps keep our costs down. Sursa's rates just are sky high anyway, and so the more you can resolve things, I think in the long run, the better off you are. And then of course the auditors don't like lawsuits, and they don't want to hear about them either. So try and resolve those kind of issues and keep our finances as clean as we can, I guess. Other than that, don't have too much else. Hope to be at the open house. I think that's going to be pretty excited at the Sky High. But anybody have any questions?
The program for kids that have like a first-time offense, is that still
going good with those circle program? We still have people running through there, and it gives, a kid makes a mistake and throws a rock through a window or whatever he does. I mean, it gives them a chance to go get some counseling, get some advice from these folks, and then at the end we dismiss their case, so they don't have a record that follows them for the rest of their life because they made maybe one mistake. So I really like the circle program. It really is.
still active? That's great.
Yeah. All right.
All right, thank you,
Thank
Mike.
you very much.
Okay, council, we've had a busy couple weeks since the last time we all got together. We're working on a couple internships. One is a paid internship. We'll just have to help offset some gasoline money, and that's going to be a student from Adams State that's going to be working with Stephanie and Oscar out at Sky High. And then through a different program, I've got Jaime looking at an intern program for some youth kids, and they come in for like 2 weeks and do some projects, and so we'll be teaming up and looking at Rob and seeing if we need picnic tables painted or something like that we can keep those youngsters busy with. The final walkthrough for Sky High on the exterior of the building is going to be on Monday. So we'll be meeting with Alcon and Stephanie and Rob and I, and not sure who else will be joining us, but we'll be looking and taking a look at it. We've kind of laid down the gauntlet, and we've given them until June the 1st to get everything completed and done, and their equipment and everything else off of the property. I've asked Stephanie not to take any more reservations right now for the building, so those that have made reservations, we've given Alcon a blackout date and saying the rest of the time is yours. So we're hoping that will motivate them to get everything else completed. We did, Nita and I and Bob and Rob, we all met with Valley Theater today. Kind of laid down the gauntlet with them as well. They've got several safety violations, and the primary one has to do with not appropriately lit exit signs or emergency lights if the electricity would go off. I've told them that if they don't get it done by the 1st of April, then we're not going to allow them to use the building for the Mountain film festival. These are violations that they've had the last several years, and they haven't been addressed, and so I've kind of dug my feet in and said, you guys need to get this taken care of, and the building is on our insurance, the city's insurance, and so if there were an accident of some sort, we'd be liable. And especially since we have reports saying these are violations year after year. We've got Phil Weiser coming into town on 22nd, I believe, as well. Phil Weiser is our Attorney General. He's teaming up with Action 22 and going to be visiting with municipalities and counties, and wants us to be getting, reviewing master plans that we've had and look at past projects that have been on the books. And he wants to help open the door as far as how to access funding to get some of those projects, apply for funding and maybe get those projects done. So I'm working with Rob and we're kind of taking a look at some of that stuff. We had a meeting, the chief sent Manuel and Brandon with me to a meeting with Connor Animal Shelter last Friday. Connor is, Manuel's had some real concerns because we do pay the animal shelter $2,400 a month, and when he takes our animals, when I say our, the cities that he picks up, there isn't any space for them. And so Connor has made some adjustments. A nice little report that they gave us. Citizens from Monte Vista took in 62 dogs to their facility. Our animal control took in 67. So, that's a little over 5 dogs a month that we're trying to place, and hopefully those animals will get adopted. Something I proposed to them, and I would like you all to consider, is that, Nita mentioned that we do require animals in town to be licensed. It's $7. I've asked Connor if they would be interested in any dogs that they adopt out within the city limits, if they would collect that $7. And for doing so, they can keep 3 and give us back 4, because then year after year we'll continue to get the $7, but to help offset their expenses for doing that for us. So they said, they were enthusiastically said yes. So Nita will get with them and we'll figure out how to make that a smooth transition. And I'll visit with Mike for possibly an MOU, just so everybody knows what the expectations are. The chief and I were at Adams State on Tuesday, and we were interviewing students for the Daniels Foundation. The Daniels Foundation gives 230 scholarships in Colorado alone every year, and they're 4-year scholarships. So they really push, the cream of the crop in order to who gets those scholarships. So I think we both were very pleased in thinking that there is a bright future for our future as these youngsters are coming up. We got to interview 6 students from here in the San Luis Valley, and it was really fun, actually. And finally, 2 more things. I got a request from a gentleman who wants you all, City Council, to name his mother for her 90th birthday. This is an artificial name, Mary Smith Day. And I've been thinking about this. And one, you guys can do that. If you do that, I think what I'm going to suggest is they've got to be a citizen of good standing. And I'm not sure how we go back and look to see when they were 42 years old that they were axe murderers or not. And that they, provide us with the bullet points that said, okay, Mary Smith did A, B, and C. Or I can just send them a letter and say congratulations, and you all can sign it, or, from the city wishing them a happy birthday. If you do the birthday thing and actually allow them to decide to name a day after these individuals, I think that we use 90 as the benchmark, and so if they're 90 or above, they can make this suggestion to you all, and I think then we ought to do it for anniversaries, if someone has achieved a milestone of 50 years plus, that maybe you all would want to consider. And this would be driven by the individual themselves. They'd have to make the request, and then we'll put together the paperwork for it. So you can give it some thought. We can talk about it the next meeting, see if you want to mess with it. Except that by the next meeting, we'll have to do something for this woman. Her birthday is, I think, March the 6th.
What is her name?
I'll tell you offline. I'd rather not put it in the
That's
record. Okay. All right. Now, the highlight of my last couple of weeks, I went out to work. I went trying to learn everybody's jobs just to get a general idea of what they're doing. So I spent most of the day out at the wastewater treatment plant with Bob and Michael, and they both gave me the red carpet treatment. I went out and we collected the wastewater samples, took them back into the lab. I watched them as they put them into test tubes and beakers and all the reporting they had to do with the state. And Bob even gave me a little job that I got to do some of the stuff myself, and so I got my rubber gloves on. And so it was a very interesting day. It's helpful for me to know that how I can help support my team, and when they're making requests, to have a better idea of what they're up against and what they're trying to achieve. So next one is the road crew. They invited me on Monday. I declined. I said I'll reschedule. They're going to be crack sealing. Very messy, very icky. I know what crack sealing is. So we'll wait for another opportunity.
That's great.
And that concludes my report.
Awesome.
Any questions?
Thank you, Gigi.
Thank you.
All right. Council, committee, city commission, and council reports. Any of you want to start?
I'll start by saying I don't have a report.
All right.
Okay. Well, no pressure here. I want to report, I am the chamber liaison, and at their last meeting, they decided to have work sessions. They welcomed, was it the last meeting or meeting before that you welcomed new board members? Which, was it the last one? Or the one before?
We did welcome the 2 new ones.
The 2 new, at this last one.
Right.
So they've got new board members, fresh faces, which means fresh ideas. I saw a lot of energy. I saw a lot of organization. I saw a determination with this decision to have, they've decided to have work sessions between the meetings so the meetings can run a little smoother and maybe be over. Because 7 o'clock in the morning, it's not that it's 7 o'clock in the morning, it's that people need to be at work at 8 or 9. So those meetings, they don't have as much leeway as we do. And I don't intend to make an example of tonight and keep going and making, that we have that leeway. But anyway, so I'm really happy to see a lot of things going that way. From what I understand, the work session for this month was fantastic. So, I'm glad to see that happening. If you saw, thank you, Marie, for being here, for being our reporter. If you saw the Monte Vista Journal today, you saw that front page above the fold was the bike rack and was Public Works people installing them. So thank you for your support. I hope that if your Public Works employees haven't read that article, please ask them to, because the Optimistics gave them a lot of credit, and it was very well, much deserved credit for being very supportive of that.
Just so you know, I did scan that, and we're gonna put that in our shop. It'll be on our bulletin board in the shop. We kind of keep a record of things the guys do throughout the year. So that is the first one that goes on for 2022.
Well, good. Y'all need some. Y'all You don't need encouragement. You deserve encouragement and you deserve recognition. There's a lot of things that Public Works does that people don't, that the organization that organized it and did it and made it, they get the credit, but couldn't be done without the Public Works people. It couldn't be done with that. We could sell all the bike racks we wanted to and pile them up somewhere. Without Public Works, that's all it'd be, is just a pile of bike racks. But, which probably wouldn't do any good. So to go on from that, the bike rack sponsorship sale is going very well. In fact, after the newspaper article came out yesterday, there were a couple of emails that came in and said, I have a son or I have a daughter or, I work downtown or something, and I never get to ride my bike, or I never, my kids don't want to take their bikes because they can't lock them up anywhere. So now they can, they're very excited about that. So we've got two people that are just parents of young people that work somewhere downtown that are excited that they're willing to sponsor one so their kid has somewhere to put, I shouldn't call them kids if they're old enough to work, but so that their young adults have somewhere to lock up their bikes. Nice. So that's fantastic. And then we've had some, they've had some businesses approach them to sponsor them. So I appreciate the city's help, especially Public Works, in getting that done and showing us where we can put them and things like that. That's about all I've got. That's it. I'm done.
Cool. Again, just want to say congratulations to Linda Robinson for being appointed to the Library District, and also Kerry Adams to the Valley 3 Advisory Board. Super excited about the Sky High, and all the new stuff that's going on there. The events, the reports on the Ag Conference, that's very encouraging. Something for the city of Monte Vista and just for the whole valley in general to look forward to. I think it's awesome. Let's see here. City staff, I was just thinking about like what Martha was saying, and it's not just Public Works, it's the whole team, that just pulls together and they make it work, I think it's great, when you can find people that you enjoy working with. I don't know how much appreciation, the city gets like on a day-to-day basis. I don't know what also like the city does for their employees as far as like providing them a meal every now and then, but I wouldn't be opposed to, like 2 times a year, let's appreciate these guys, let's give them some lunch or something, because it's important, you know what I mean? And like, I think you want to enjoy where you work at. If people appreciate you, that makes you want to come to work even more, So I want to just say thank you to like not just Public Works, but also to all the city staff, everybody that comes in and puts in their effort every day to come to work, because everybody knows the last year and a half has put a little damper on the whole economy because people really don't like to work anymore for some reason or another, But thank you guys to everybody who comes in to work every day and puts their souls to the ground, So other than that, I really don't have anything else. So just want to thank you guys for coming out to your city council meeting. Encourage other people to get involved in their communities. It's important. So Monty Strong. We're going to adjourn, right, to the next meeting on the 3rd, I believe.
That is correct.
So, all right, meeting adjourned. Have a good evening, everybody.
Thank you.